Well, I did want a bit of spice for Valentine's Day. So who arrives? Fudgy! The spicy Shih Tzu. So hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Wendy. This is Wendy's Pet Salon and this is my little salon at my home. Happy Valentine's. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're doing all well and looking forward to your weekend. It's frosty over here today. It is. I'm going to do my tip number 1 straight away because I have no time to lose because I need to crack on with Fudgy. His head looks the size of mine. So, alternative to the mask. Doesn't like masks, tries to get them off, and many dogs do. And trying to get them on, it's ridiculous sometimes. I used to have some very spicy ones back in the day when I had spicy ones. I have only a couple, so I'm very lucky. But I found that Bubble is, oh excuse you, is the best thing for me. And believe me, Fudgy, you would bite me, wouldn't you? So, and it's so easy to put on. You just literally, there it is, and Velcro over the top. We're on. The only thing I found with it is that I can't puff it up too much, if that's a word. I just let it out slightly because I need the Velcro to go. Now the only thing with these is the Velcro goes, but when it does you can put like the little press studs in here because this is zip, there's a zip there, and inside you can take this out. Let me just show you what I mean. This is a balloon, so you can take that out completely. So if you needed to stitch on the press stud, just to make that extra secure, because they are like Houdini, aren't they? But I generally put that round. See, it's so easy to put on. Put that on, like that. And what it means is that he can't bite down on me, and if he's thrashing about, it's supporting his neck. And also I do my hold technique. Oops, it's coming off today. It's because it's been used on you. I use my hold technique under here. Oh yeah, we're having a bit of an issue today. I need to deflate it a little bit. I pumped it up. Ooh, what's that? But it really works for me. See, he knows already. So, and I use my hold technique under here, but I have got the whole of his head here. Be a good boy. And I've got some high value treats as well. So we use the Bubble and the high value treats, don't we, in succession, if that's the word. So, you know, when he's getting a bit thrashed, not all dogs will accept a treat, especially if they're stressed out. But Fudgy here loves a treat, and the better, the high value, the better, isn't it? I put it down to the fact that he loves me. You've seen a spicy video of Fudgy. He just like me. He comes in, he knows a routine, he goes straight outside, does a wee and a poo, don't you? Straight outside and does a wee and a poo. It's just he doesn't like to be dominated in a way, and also I think there's a pain relation because he's got such little legs. He's got a massive head and a big chest and some little tiny legs. So, and he's getting on now. I've been doing him since he was, I didn't do his first puppy grooms, but it wasn't far after that. And he does have some health issues as well. He's got, you know, a big lump here at the back, and he's got funny eyes. But we all get lumps and funny eyes when we get older. It's just part of getting old sometimes. But he's coping okay. So he's had some eye damage. So yeah. But we have an understanding, don't we? Yeah, we do. If you look back on the Shih Tzu spicy Shih Tzu Fuji, you'll see how I do this with him, and then when I reward with treats and stuff like that. So you've got to have them ready. But this is my alternative, and I do use this for a Cocker Spaniel that I do as well, who just comes for a dry trim because he's so aggressive that the dry trim is enough. So his mum baths him at some point a few days before I do the dry cut, but this is what I use. I don't tend to use muzzles. If I do, I might use a tape muzzle, which is on a stretchy bandage. I don't like, I've got tons of muzzles. I'll show you the muzzles, but I've got tons of them. I've got the bucket ones. I've got a cage one. In fact, let me see if they're behind me. They're not behind me. I'm not going to leave him on the table. So I'm going to get cracking, and at some point I'll show you once I've finished Fuji, I'll show you you know your name, don't you? Yes, he's a good boy. Sorry for the erms. I'm terrible for an erm. Does anybody do erms? I think it's my brain thinking about things. So I have to, it's like erm or so and I'm terrible. So I do apologise. I do try and cut them out of the video because I have noticed that I do them a lot. So it takes a little bit of a time to cut those out so that it flows. So I do apologise for that. But when I've finished Fuji here and he's ready to go in the bath, I will show you the muzzles that I have. So my tip is the alternative muzzle, which is the bubble for me. The bubble of shame. I'll see you in a bit. Yay! Who'd have thought you were so spicy? Oh, bubble. See? Hey, yes, hang on, sit, hang on. There, good boy. Okay. So that's Fuji all done. So my other muzzles, so you've got your basket type and you've got these type. I've got 3 of those. Yeah, I just don't groom naughty dogs really, generally on the whole. I mean, obviously they're good to have in. I've got the mesh type as well. And this one. I've got two of those basket ones, but I keep them in. They're handy to have. But I always go for the bubble or a bit of bandage if it's really bad. So obviously getting it on is the hard part, but it's easier to make a loop than try and get this on and clip it. I don't know. Bubble works great for me. So I've always opted for that. And I think it's kinder in a way. Sometimes these can, cause anxieties. So I try and avoid these. Yeah, so that was my first tip of the day. Try the bubble. Works for me. It's a little insert. Just having a conversation with a customer. My daughter's having a cat spayed and she's looking through the vets, and I think she's registered at this particular vet. So anyway, she noticed there was a picture of my grooming slap bang on their business page on Google. So it actually makes them look like a groomer's, but they don't have permission to use that. And what's happened is I've got in touch with a customer and she said, oops, she did a review for them and she's put a picture on and it does say, can we use the picture? So they've used it as their main picture. But it's a bit strange to be using a picture of a dog that's, you know, sitting on a grooming table being groomed in this situation. It's not really relevant to, you know, pets that would go to the vets and sit in the waiting room or go on, you know, you kind of nearly needs to fit in. You know, it's like me putting a picture of a cow on mine kind of makes me look like a farmer rather than a groomer. You know what I mean? So yeah, so my daughter sent it through. She said, have you seen this? And I was like, no, I haven't seen it, but and there he is sat there on the grooming table. Very strange. I don't think necessarily it would be a picture that I would want to put on my vet's page. I would probably want to put one of a dog that's in the waiting room or one that's at home, maybe sat on the couch or something like that, to show that the dog is chilling at home after a stressful time at the vets. But however, she's going to get in touch with the vets and say, can you please take that photo down, because it actually is somebody's business picture. So no harm done. I'm not going to sue them or anything dreadful, but she's going to pop in and just say, would you mind just removing that picture, because that's my groomer's picture and I don't have, although I've said I've given you permission, unfortunately, you know, we don't have permission to use it to promote your business. Oh, the joys.
Coming first. Hey, who's coming first? Are you coming? Are you coming? Okay. Yeah, Flo's coming. Flo, good girl, Flo.
Tip number 2. So obviously, like you've seen with Fudge, there's things that I need to do to protect him, protect myself. So consent grooming isn't really an option. But however, I do still give him the freedom to sit down when he needs, you know, to lie down if he wants to, you know. It's this sort of a balance that's struck. Obviously, I need to protect myself and protect him, because I can't necessarily do his groom without those things. And I wouldn't not use my safety equipment if I didn't really need it. So I always pretty much use a neck noose. It's always on loose. And if I was to use a belly strap, which I do have one, I've changed one over because the other one was sat there for the longest time, it started to peel. I don't use them very often, but I'll use them for small things. I do not use that for the full groom, because I want them to feel that they can sit down when they want to. The reason why I have my table like this is because I want them to have the freedom to point in the direction that they want, because some dogs, if you point them in the wrong direction, they'll want to turn around. So you know, you're just sort of fighting a battle. So this way, if Flo wants to point this way, I can just stand. I just literally touch her underneath there and she'll stand, and I'll turn. And they say the same things, so stand, turn, things like that. Routine is key, and once they come on a regular basis, all these things go into place. So I'll gently just remind her that I needed to stand up with my hand here. I don't necessarily need to have the belly strap, because if she wants to sit down, she can sit down when she wants, so she can just sit down. If I wanted to pick up her foot, I might just put my hand underneath there gently, and she'll just gently lift it. You know, I don't have to grab it. You know, she will, if I do this, it'll naturally go up. You know, so she's like giving consent for me to do stuff. So yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about consent, because I know that a lot of groomers rely on a lot of safety equipment, and they might not realise what is happening. You know, if a dog's leaning on a belly strap, you know, it affects their bladder. But if you took that off, you've got the noose on there, just allow them to sit. You can pull a foot out to the side. You know, if I turn her like this, I can pull a foot out to the side. I don't necessarily have to have them up on a belly strap. They feel less restricted in what you're trying to do. So when everything's easy and it flows, this is flow. When it flows, everything's good, isn't it? It is. Yes. When groomers say they do complete restraint free, it gives me anxiety, because even as a groomer with experience that I've got, you know, if I was working on the back end of the dog, for instance, this is on loosely. She's not, you know, it's really loose. It's nowhere near. But if she just decided for some reason, somebody comes in and wants to jump off the table, or she gets spooked, for whatever reason, and I've got equipment in my hand, it gives me time to put my equipment down and stop her from going forward. So as a safety aspect, this is really important. It doesn't have to be on so you're restricting the blood flow or choking them or whatever. It's used in the right way. But I would never do that. I wouldn't take that risk with somebody else's dog. And I always use safety first. So like I say, as experienced as I am, you know, her feeling free to be able to sit down when she wants to, you know, it makes a big impact on the whole groom. So I know when you're in grooming school, they put you on belly straps and things like that. And you are concentrating on stuff like that. But when the dog is uncomfortable, it may not have been to the toilet or whatever, and it's got that, you know, so you might find that it's fidgeting, it's not behaving, and that makes your job a little bit difficult, you know, especially when you're training. So I do wish that they would emphasise really that although these are here, they're more of a safety and a training element. So for me, the belly strap might be, because I know one particular dog might just sit down all the time, and I might just need to do a leg, and I might take it off, I might go the other side and put it back on again, do the other leg. I'm not leaving it there the whole time, and it's really just for a training element. So the belly strap, it's not designed to be cut up into here and press. It's just designed to go so that when they go to sit down, there's something there, you know, there's something there so they can't. It's not there to fully restrict them, you know, because sometimes they jump and they panic and they want to get over the top, they don't like it. So you know, you've got more chance of all your things being knocked off and, you know, scissors being dropped and, you know, dogs panicking. So don't feel that you can't let the dogs, you know, stand and sit, because you can let them sit, and then when they get back up again, you know you've done that leg, you can just comb it out and then just see bits, and, you know, once they shake her on the floor, it's fine. So yeah, I just wanted to go over that, you know, consent grooming is really you know, a really important part of the process of dogs enjoying the whole procedure. You know, Flo is comfortable. You can tell she's comfortable on the table. She knows she can sit when she wants to. She's a very good girl. And obviously, if you've seen that clip, I always ask these two, who's coming first? And it's always you, Flo, isn't it? It's always you. It's always you. So it's nice to have those freedoms, you know, for them, and you start building up a really good relationship with the dogs, because if you're restricting them all the time, you know, things are on too tight, they're not understanding what you want them to do, because they're just thinking about the restrictions that's on them. So that is my approach. You know, that I don't need her to be on a belly strap to be, you just see me just clip that off there, and she sat down comfortably. So she's going to enjoy the groom a little bit more, because she hasn't got to stand up for 2 hours or stand up for 40 minutes. So, you know, that's, for me, an important part of my groom. You know, I don't expect my dogs to stand four square on the table. They're not show dogs, they're pets. They're loved pets. And like I see, I've only put my hand there and she stood up, no problem, because she knows what I wanted to do. And you can use the same, I use the sort of same things, the same things. I might say give, as in give me foot, or stand, I might just touch there and they'll stand. So give paw, which normally people would say, you know, if you're doing your normal training at home, you say, give me paw. So it's like give, and then stand. And I'm not forcing her up, she is standing of her own, you know, consent, you know. But as for completely restraint free, I don't like the word restraint as it is. These are just safety elements of our profession. Just like when you walk down the road with your dog, it has a lead on to protect it, you know, because you never know what's around the corner. And your dog might be the best trained dog in the world, but you don't know if there's a car going to back out of the drive. You know, I've seen it before, because they'll see a person, but they won't see a dog. So yeah, these are just safety elements, you know, they're not like restraints. When you think of restraints, you think of handcuffs, and you know, they're just safety things, safety elements. When they're used to that routine and having the freedoms to stand and sit up or lie down if they need to, things just flow and work, you know. And if you know they can relax, you know, it becomes less stressful for the dogs. So yeah. So it would be interesting to know if there's any new groomers out there that you rely on how you rely on your belly strap. And were you ever told that, you know, they don't have to stand up on the table the whole time with the belly strap on, you know? Just give them consent to sit down when they want to. I actually went, not naming any places, but I did go to a training place once, and there was a lady that was grooming a dog. He was very old, and he'd got a belly strap on, and she was trying to get a big hard lump out of his foot. Well, she didn't know the hard lump was there for starters, because when she was touching his foot, he didn't like it. So I just crept over how I did, and I showed her the foot, and I said he's got a big mat inside his foot, that's why it's uncomfortable. And also, you could see that he was old and his belly was very distended, you know, so he was holding a lot of water. So I can imagine as an old dog, your bladder isn't, you know. So it's not very comfortable if you've got a belly strap on and you're trying to pull the leg, they're standing on 3 legs, they've got a belly strap on. Not ideal. So I took the belly strap off and let him sit down, and I got the mat out for her. Thanks for that. But as soon as I'd finished, I put the belly strap back on. You know, and I did explain it's probably because he's got the belly strap on. If you just let him sit down, he's old, he ain't going anywhere, you know. He's not like jumping around or anything like that. And they'll find it a lot more comfortable if you just let him sit down and get to that foot, because you could see that I got the stuff out of his foot and he didn't have to have the belly strap on, and he was just sitting on the table, you know, good as gold, sitting on the table. But it was the fact that the belly strap was pressing on his poorly bladder. So all he's thinking about is, I'm uncomfortable. So, you know, when you want them to enjoy coming and enjoy the groom, you know, it's really important that they've got these freedoms. Sometimes, on occasion, you can't always give them that freedom. Like Fudgy. I do need my fingers to do my job. But, so I hope you understood that. So yeah, so it's my tip number 3 is to, you know, back off the belly straps and give the dogs the freedom, and let them consent to things, and eventually everything will come together and you'll be able to do a nice, calm, comfortable groom when the dog isn't feeling threatened by certain things, you know, that's making them feel uncomfortable. So let me know what you think about that one. So I just wanted to move on from obviously muzzles, which is not ideal, and obviously having the freedoms of movement on the table for the dogs, and you know, like and the, you know, picking up the legs and stuff like that. You know, she's fighting against you, and there is a better way. So that's my tip number 2. So I'll finish Flo. I'm just finishing off you're gonna get your hair coloured. Just finishing off Dougie. So just going back to what I was saying about consent grooming, it's like I know he's not going to go anywhere, and I could probably take that off, and sometimes I do, but it wouldn't be with a dog that I know nothing about or I haven't built up any trust. It's just it's a habit, it's loose, and I know that he likes to lie down, so when I'm trying to do his face, he actually doesn't like you drying his face while he's stood up, but if he's allowed to lie down and put his head on the table, he doesn't mind his face dried at all. You're just a little bit lazy like that, aren't you? Yeah, I've been doing Dougie since he was a puppy, haven't we? I've done both of you since you were puppies. I have. And they're like 2 peas in a pod, aren't they? Yes, you love your brother. Flo came from a puppy farm. They rescued her from a puppy farm. and she had terrible mites and things in her ears, and she was a little bit jumpy at the start, but she's lovely. She's the first one who'll come for a haircut. So you've got thick hair, haven't you, Dougie? A lot of the time I don't have any music on or anything like that. We just sit and we chill, don't we? So there are times when I don't use any of these safety measures, but they are on dogs that I know I can trust. And obviously I haven't got a lot of things going on in here. It's very quiet.
Okay.
I haven't got a lot of people coming in and out. And they say they don't listen to you. He just pipes up now and again. Not sure why he did that. Oogie woogie. He's so cute. Just going to blend them bits on your face. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about that. Like I say, do you rely on the belly straps? If you went to training school, is that something that they sort of drummed into you? Because I know back in my day we didn't have any of them. You had a little thin strap, that's about it. That's all we had. So, and I think sometimes if you're using all these belly I've got a sliding door in the middle. Flo's just opened it. I forgot what I was saying then. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, I'll have to go back on the video. What I was going to say before Flo opened the door is that when we're using all these belly things, we're sort of missing out on you know, handling experience, because we're relying on all these things. So built up over time, but it's a good habit to get out of. And tip number 3 is always end on a positive, whether it be a cuddle, might be that they can't have treats, so have to stick with a cuddle or a treat. Are you sitting? Are you sitting? Are you sitting? One for Flo and one for Dougie. Nice. Also, getting weeds on is a positive thing, isn't it? This isn't yours. Yes, it is. Oh. I know. He's not here yet. Oh, let's connect you. It's not for you. You putting yours on, Dougie? Yes. Oh, come on then. Come here. That's it. You put your leg in. Oh, you put your own leg in. Good boy. Is that better? Yes. Put your leg down. You ready to go? Hey. Oh. Ready to go. One for Flo and one for Dougie. Oh. So that was Tip Share Saturday. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a like, and thank you so much for all your comments. It means the world to me. Excuse me, I have a sore throat, so I'm on the throat sweets. I hope you all have a really great weekend, and I will see you back on Monday. And we've got lots of nice doggies all week. And I'll see you then.
bye for now. Take care.